One day your neat little app is production ready, time to shine. And in real world delivery, things move in stages. You develop, you test, you deliver in a way that's safe, incremental and traceable. But in enterprise platforms like SAP, Salesforce or large-scale Laravel stacks, that's not how things work. Your team develops, a quality engineer tests, and the DevOps teams delivers. Each step happens in a different system, sometimes on different networks or even on a different continent. And each of those systems has its own rules, its own users, its own risks. So, how would one describe a system? What actually makes Dev different from QS? And QS different from Pro? It's not just the data, not just the team. It's the rules. What runs, what doesn't. What's visible, what's protected. What kind of logic is allowed and where. A system is a boundary, a place where certain behaviors are permitted and others are not. In Laravel, you might normally express that through route groups, through middleware, through environment checks, sometimes even inline if statements. But that gets messy fast, especially when your code starts crossing environments. So LaravelUi5 approaches this differently. Instead of hard-coding behavior, it gives you a central place to define your system boundaries, declaratively, cleanly, in a single config switch. Let me show you how. It all starts in our UI5 configuration file. When you scroll down to the systems switch, you see like what systems we define in general. So we have a development system represented by this array, a quality assistance system represented by that array, and a production system represented by that array. Each key here within represents a specific system, and each value defines how that system behaves. Most importantly, what middleware to use, but it is not confined to only that. So, what's happening here? In Dev, it's all about speed. Yeah? No auth, no blockers, just fast iteration, like we all like to see in our everyday work. In Pro, on the other side, we want to be sure that security is employed. So, beside the web middleware, we also want to see the authentication layer tied in. That means our OData endpoints are protected, access is validated, and the system behaves more like a real business application. It's a clean separation of concerns. You don't need to edit routes. You don't need some if up environment blah blah logic. You just define your intentions here in one place, and of course you can swap out any middleware for whatever middleware you want. You can create custom guards, token validations, session rules, whatever your system needs, you can plug it in, and all UI5 and OData routes will have applied those at once. So we've defined how each system should behave, and Laravel already knows which one is currently active, right? Remember, you've told it so in a previous episode when setting the system switch in .env. Yeah? But how does the configuration know? Yeah, it's also here in the configuration file, and you might have seen it. We have this active switch where we call the .env file for the parameter system and we give it the default of Pro. Again, it was your choice, you tell it explicitly, but with this single line we also make sure that the fallback is always to the Pro file. So even if you deploy it by accident, you are safe because the tightest environment was chosen up front. Nothing more, nothing less. So, what to do if you want to switch systems? You already know it. Just put whatever system you want to reference here. When you want to go for a quality assurance system, put in QS, or when you go to the Pro system, put in your Pro, and you are good to go. So, no route taking, no middleware juggling, no guessing what's active, just clear, centralized intent driven by configuration. And because this system awareness is built in from the start, it opens the door for something more powerful down the line. Think system-specific proxy targets, system-aware KPIs, transport pipelines that know where they are running, all powered by this tiny setting. Even more settings worth to mention here. Let's go through them. First of all, this version thing here. And as you can see, we tried to really give you a concise documentation for each setting that is included so that you don't have to do much of guessworking out. The version switch is the one that defines the default UI5 framework version used by all your apps. It's pulled directly from the official UI5 CDN, and it's what powers your app at runtime. Need a different version for a specific app? No problem. Each app can override this default with its own configuration. That means you can lock down your global version to ensure consistency, or you can gradually adopt newer versions app by app without breaking anything else. It's a small setting, but it reflects the bigger idea behind Laravel UI5. Give developers clarity, control, and enterprise structure without the complexity. So now you've seen how Laravel UI5 introduces system awareness into your project. You define which systems exist. You declare how they behave, and you control which one is active, all from configuration. And with that, you've set the stage. Now it's time to build. In the next part, we'll create our first real UI5 app from scratch. See you there!